Hi, everybody. It's Maria Brophy, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to attract companies to you. Now, I have been talking about art licensing for the last couple months because I just rolled out some new art licensing courses. And one of the questions I get over and over again from people is this: do I have to go out and seek companies? Do I have to go knock on their doors? Do I have to call them? Do I have to bug them? Why can't they just come to me? So that's what I'm going to talk about, because there are two ways to get a license deal for your artwork by teaming up with another company. And one of the ways is by you seeking them out, right? And I mean, this is what highly successful artists do. They go out. They go out of their comfort zone and they seek out new business. But there is a slightly easier way, and that is setting yourself up so that you attract these companies to you. Now, I say it's easier. It's actually not easier. It's easier to some people because some people don't want to go out and solicit themselves. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to do this, and there are actually many ways, but for the sake of time, I'm going to share with you 3. And before I jump into that, I want to invite you to ask questions in the comments. If you're here with me live, I will answer them live. If you're listening to the replay of this, ask questions in the comments and I will answer them because I love getting questions. So please, or just leave me a comment. So what we're talking about today is how to attract companies to you so that they are going to want your artwork for licensing or for commissions or murals or anything. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 3 different ways. Number one, become known for something, and then people will find you. This sort of goes along with, having a niche, right? Or a niche, however you want to call it. When you are known for something, it's so much easier to get those art deals because you're known for it. So let's say you are Josephina artist and you do a little bit of everything. You dabble in it all, right? You do landscapes and you do cartoons and you paint portraits and you love to paint pets and you play around with photography. So you're doing it all, right? And you put all this stuff out there in the world. And you think that it's going to give you more opportunity. But actually what it does is it confuses people and it makes it harder for someone who is looking for something specific to find it within you. So let's say out of all the 10 things you do, one of them is pet portraits. Another artist, you're Josephine artist, and then there's also a Joe artist. And Joe artist only paints pet portraits. That's all he does. And maybe he dabbles in other things, but when you look up his website and you look at his social media posts and you go to his art shows, it's all about the cats and dogs and animals. Who do you think is going to get the gig if a company is looking for somebody who paints pet portraits? Joe artist, who that's all he does. So I'm using that as an example, but there's so many other examples. I'll give you an example that I'm very close to, and that's my husband, Drew, who is really known for surfing art. Almost all of his paintings capture the joy of surfing. It's all about waves and sun and surfboards. So when somebody's looking for an authentic depiction of the surfing lifestyle, they are most likely going to find Drew and they're going to hire him. Why is that? Why are they going to hire him over someone else? Because when you look up Drew Brophy or when you do a Google search of surfing art, he's going to pop up on page one because he's been doing it for so long. And then when you look at his profiles on Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook and his website, it's all about surf. So that is why it's so powerful to become known for something, even if it's a super tiny, tiny niche. So number 2, how to get companies to come to you for art licensing or mural projects to hire you for your art. Number 2 is to be consistent and persistent with your posting of what you do. So, social media, even if you're only on one social media platform, you are going to consistently post every day, and your posts are going to be in a similar theme, and they're going to capture what you're about and what your niche is and what it is you want to be known for. So posting often, posting consistently with your theme. And let's see, what else? There was something else I wanted to say about that. Oh, here's another thing I want to say about that. So on your online relationships, build relationships with companies that have something in common with you and your art. So if you are a nature artist, let's say you love to paint birds and trees, you would align with the Audubon Society. You would align with any of those nature charities out there, companies that sell nature products, that sell bird feeders, that, just this thing, there's a million different ways you can go. So how do you build relationships with those companies? Well, you go to their pages, you follow what they're doing, you leave them comments. That's how you do it. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I'm just going to roll through this pretty quickly. And if there are no questions when I get to the end, then you can always ask a question after this live is over. And also, I want to invite you to click the link in the description or the link in my bio for my new Art Licensing 1 and Art Licensing 2 courses, where I teach you and I literally hold your hand on how to get licensing deals for your art to be printed on products. Okay, number 3, how to attract companies to you. And this involves networking. Getting your body outside of your space and going out to live events, going to trade shows and meeting people, going to art shows, going to parties, going to museums, going to events that have similar themes to what you do for a living. So, I was just reading, there's an artist named Mir One out of Los Angeles, and I was just reading his newsletter this morning. And in his newsletter, he said that he's painting a mural at some Bitcoin conference. That is like the perfect thing, because he came out with all these NFTs, and he's been studying Bitcoin for years. He's been talking about it, teaching people about it, and it sort of ties in with his art. So that's a perfect example of teaming up with someone who is, or a company, or an event, or a conference that is in alignment with your art, reaching out to them. Here's a question from Heather Johnson. I'm going to bring this up to the screen. Heather asked, how do you figure out what your niche is if you draw a variety of topics? Okay, well, and I get this question all the time. And I know that a real creative artist, you can never put them in a box of a niche, right? Because you want to do so much. You have this creativity just pounding out of you. So how could I ever ask you to choose one topic out of 20 that you love? I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Here's my answer to that question. Out of all those things that you love to create, all those different themes and styles and subject matter, which one is your favorite? Which one gets the most attention, the most sales, or the most potential sales? Which one feels the best to you? And let that one be your main thing. You can still do the other 19 things. But unless you have a team of about 6 to 8 people working for you as employees, you can't market 20 different things at once because you're going to have 20 different audiences and 20 different places where you should be. So I'll use my husband, Drew, as an example. The surf art is our bread and butter. It is where we make most of our money because it's what he's been doing for 30 years. About, I don't know, 7-ish, 8-ish years ago, he started painting these sacred geometry paintings. There's one right behind me. Completely different style, completely different buyer, completely different market. That put me in a little bit of a quandary as his business partner, manager, because now I'm like, okay, how do I sell these sacred geometry artworks? They're so different from the surf and they're totally different. So we keep them separated. They are on Drew's website. They're on his, but we separate the surf from the sacred geometry. And we actually have 2 different email lists because it is 2 different customers, 2 different buyers with different price points. And Drew loves to do a lot of different things, but he has stayed focused on the surf and the sacred geometry because it really just, I mean, it's the 2 of us. And we actually have a new business partner that's helping us with art prints and web sales. But, really, if we needed to explore all the themes that Drew wanted to do, I would need a team of like 5 more people. And we don't have the capital, the money to put into that, nor do we want to. We don't want to be stretched in a million different directions. So, Heather, just choose like 1 or 2 main themes to focus on. And then still dabble in all the others. But if you want to make a living with art, you do have to kind of hyper focus. I don't see any other questions, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. I really appreciate you all being here. The replay will be on my YouTube channel. And as a matter of fact, I recommend you go to my YouTube channel. It's just my name. Go to YouTube and search Maria Brophy. I have a ton of videos on there, and I add new ones like every other day. So, and if you leave me a comment and let me know what you want me to address in one of my next videos, I'm happy to do that. And Dave Rogers says, thanks. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you being here. I love doing these lives. They're much more fun when I have people commenting and letting me know that they're here. And that way I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. And hello to Laura Wayne. Thank you, Laura. And I want to go back and say hi to Sybil. Well, I'm a little confused by what this comment says. Mary Ann Armacost. Sybil is bringing her friend Mary Ann's attention to the video. Thank you, Sybil. And yeah, you know what? Tell your friends because I'd like to get more people on these YouTubes and these Facebook videos with me. Thank you, Geraldine. All right, everybody. Well, thank you. And I'm doing this again tomorrow, same time, same place. And I'm bringing on Ronnie Walter, who is just amazing. And she's going to share a lot. You don't want to miss it. All right, everybody. Thank you.